back here again. Let me know if you guys can hear me, if this works better. So I had a little bit of an issue. I think last time, I don't know what the audio issue was for the input. I set all the inputs, but it sounds like this should be better. So let me know if you can see my screen and if this works out a little bit better for you. Hopefully this does. Then it'll be a lot easier for everybody who's rewatching this now. So what I wanted to do in today's live stream again that I walked through before, but I'll say it all over again because it's important, is go through the process of finding some trades in FXI and TLT. So I'm doing this personally. This is just me. I'm not telling you to do this. You can do whatever you want, obviously. But I just want to show you, because I was going to do this by myself. I was going to do this not recording my screen. Thought, like, why not just go through this process and show you what I am kind of thinking about myself and how I'm using it. And this is going to be new for me because what I've done the entire time that we've had the new platform live is I've done all automated trading. So I still run all my automated trading through the bots that I run, mostly Hexa bots and Iron Condor bots and cherry picking bots and things like that. I still do all of that. But what I wanted to do here was take like one or two opportunistic bets, like trades on things that I think are good opportunities to trade. And I don't necessarily need to build this entire elaborate trading strategy around that. And so I'm going to use the tools that we have, which is the new manual trading, 1 minute exit options, to place a trade and then hybrid automated management those trades through Option Alpha. So that's what I'm going to do. Does that make sense? And is my audio a little bit more clear now that I've redone this live stream? Sorry. So let me know here, and then we'll get into it. Okay. So I'm going to go through the process of finding these. I have no idea which ones I'm after right now. There's no, like, I'm not coming into this saying like, hey, I have this exact one that I want to find. I'm just going to go through that process of finding those trades. Okay. So I was starting on the watch list, and this is where I start. For some of these ones like this, I've been kind of watching this and monitoring this for a little bit of time. And whenever I get a chance in here, you obviously know, if you're a trader and you kind of follow the markets, like what's generally been moving or not. Well, the reality is that FXI and TLT have been getting crushed. So if I go into my watch list and then I sort by my favorites, and you can even sort ETFs, but all of my favorites are ETFs anyway. You go down to sort everything by 52-week range, and you can see the top two right now in my favorites for 52-week range that are on the lowest end of their 52-week range is TLT and FXI. Okay, that's interesting. That's something where maybe there's a trading opportunity there. It might not be the only thing, but it could be something that says, okay, like, what is going on here? What's happening in these? Now, obviously, there's news that came out of China over the weekend. So China gapped down yesterday 10%, I think. I think it ended the day down 10%. So huge gap lower in FXI. Maybe it's overextended. Maybe that gap is too big. Maybe this is the blow off of a continued move lower. And then you have bonds, which is just have been getting crushed and annihilated for the entire year. So the largest moves we've ever seen in bond markets, right? And, continuing to move down. So that's big, as well. Like maybe there's a trading opportunity here. So if you look at TLT, for example, he's up on the day just a little bit after a big down move, but you go back to a year, this thing's just been annihilated, right? And we all know this. Bonds have been down, Fed's raising rates, bond prices are dropping, right? Like it's the same old, right? So, but what I want to do is say, okay, well, is there an opportunity to step in here, make a trade, do a high probability entry? IV rank is at 87, so that's good. There's lots of fat premium in there. Options are really expensive, historically, or compared to their historical normals. So maybe there's an opportunity in there. FXI, same general thing, been down big on the year. The last day, you can see this is that big gap down on Monday. Huge gap lower in FXI. Okay, maybe there's some trading opportunities here. So here's what we're going to do. If that makes sense, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just find some one-off trades that I want to get into. I'm a trader just like you guys are. I love automated trading, but sometimes I just want to enter a one-off trade. So I'm going to go to positions, and then I'm going to go up here to add a new position to my portfolio. I'm going to go to TLT. We'll do TLT first. Again, if you just want to toggle out the chart, you can just go back and forth here and see some details, but I know I want to do a short put spread. So I want to try to go for the I don't want to say like not the rebound move, but the like the mean reversion move here. So sell options far out of the money. And if TLT stops dropping or moves sideways, even if it goes lower but just doesn't hit my break even prices, then I would make some money on this trade moving forward. So that's what I'm going to try to do. I'm going to try to sell options out of the money. I select my expiration date next. This one's where it gets a little bit tricky, I think, because for TLT and for general trading that I do, I'm not traditionally a guy that likes to trade short duration. So I don't like to trade things 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. I don't like that. I like to trade more monthly positions. That's just me. But now you have the monthly contracts for TLT, which are either the Novembers, which are 24 days, or the Decembers, which are 52 days. Neither of which I kind of like. Maybe 20 days might be too short. 52 days might not be long enough, or maybe it doesn't go in that sweet spot that, generally, 40 days and 60 days works out well. For some reason, 50 days doesn't tend to work out well back testing wise. Not that it's bad, it just doesn't work out well historically. So, but January's at 87 are just too far. So for me, I don't like the January's at 87. They're just too far out. I don't think you would, even if you got to move up in TLT or you got to move up in FXI, trading contracts that far out, you probably don't get paid for that move because there's so much time left, right? And so time decay is barely moving at that point. You're not really getting a lot of, differences in the prices as the stock moves because there's so much time left. So much can still happen. So too close and you kind of run the risk of nothing happening, right, in your sweet spot. So for right now, I'm going to go with the December 16th contracts, which are the monthlies. Those are about 52 days out. So kind of in that range, gives me some time to let the position work and then go from there. Okay, so long strike. So if I select the long strike, I go down to some lower strikes. I think the last time we did this video, I was doing these around the maybe the 88s or the 87s, I think is what I did. I think I did maybe I think I did these ones here. The 83s. Yeah, I think I did maybe the 83s. Maybe it's 87s, I think. Somewhere in there. Does anyone remember which ones I was doing before? I think I was doing the 88s. But so I want to do something like 15 to 20 delta, somewhere in that range, not too far down. You can see, like, I don't want to do these ones, right? I wouldn't want to buy those 81 contracts. There's 25 of them for open interest. The volume is 1, just too illiquid, right? Even for those strikes. So I definitely want to play in the range of liquidity. I want to focus on those strikes that have a lot more liquidity than the other strikes. So so let's do the 83s. So let's do the 83s here. We'll start with there, and then we can obviously modify and adjust this as we go. So we'll do the 83s. That's our long strike. And then for the short strike, we'll do something a little bit closer. You can do these pretty narrow if you want to. I'm going to do mine pretty narrow and just try to take advantage of some of a good opportunity, something that's far out of the money that I could take advantage of. So maybe I'll do something like this, maybe the 88s, and do about a $5 wide spread. So that would be okay. We could do the 88s. You can just click on these. You can see there's pretty good liquidity in both of these. So the spreads are pretty tight. The bid-ask spreads between these are pretty tight. Again, this is all if you're doing it manually. If you do it automated through bots, you can check all this stuff if you want to. But right here, you can just kind of visually see what's going on with these spreads. Okay, so I'll select those to start with. Once I select those, you can see that all of the data for that particular position starts to fill in. So let me actually remove myself from the screen. So we'll maximize this here. But you can see all the data for this starts to fill in. So you get your credit range that you're looking at for the bid-ask spread. You get your mid price. You get your risk to reward. Your maximum profit on this position right now, kind of at that mid price, is about $77. Then this is the key one for me as I start to play around with this myself more and do more of these manual trades. Is I don't have to do this calculation now. Like before, you'd have to do this calculation in your mind. You'd have to go through and be like, okay, what's my break even? What are my strikes? How far out am I till expiration? You'd have to do some crazy charting in your platform. So we just want to put these front and center because this is what I would want to know as a trader too, is what's the chance I reach my max profit? What's the chance that I get to the max loss? What's my break even chance? And so for right now, this particular trade, I think looks pretty decent. So I'm okay with this one. It has a decent profit. I know I'm probably going to take profits off the table a little bit earlier, right? I'm not going to let it ride all the way to expiration. That's just me. So I'm not going to be the one that keeps that thing the entire time. But the likelihood that I keep my position in that max profit range, or at least above the break even point of 87.22, is pretty high, right? So pretty high. Now I can modify this and I could go up a little bit, right? And I can make this spread a little bit wider if I wanted to, and I could start to manipulate these strikes and try to look for something that maybe pays us a little bit more money, and maybe I accept a little bit more risk here in doing this, right? So if I went to the 90 and the 83, I kept my long strike at the 83, and I now made this spread a little bit wider. So now it's a $7 wide spread versus originally it was a $5 wide spread. Now you can see by just doing that, I have now adjusted my profit up, right? Okay, that's good. I've adjusted my profit up and I've given up and sacrificed some probability of success on this position. That is a logical thing to do, right? Where if you're going to collect some more money and you're going to take on some more risk, you're going to sacrifice, something. Something's got to give in this scenario. Now I could also kind of manipulate and move up the strikes here, and maybe I move up my long put strike to 85. So now I move it from the 83 and the 87 to the 85 and the 90, and now I go back to a $5 wide spread. And so maybe I do something like that too. So I kind of like this one a little bit here because it's a little bit more money up front. So the credit's a little bit higher. The potential that you take in is a little bit more. I'm okay still in the 70-ish% probability of success range. So I kind of like this one. I like this one, a little bit better. The bigger strikes, more rounded strikes are generally easier to work with anyway. They have way more liquidity. So if I select this, you can see, these 90 strikes have a lot of liquidity. The only challenge I would see with this one is that it's not too far below where the stock is trading right now, but I don't think going to the 88s would have a meaningful difference, right? If the stock's going to stop falling, or if TLT is going to stop falling and start trading sideways, then I think, this range for me, maybe potentially looks pretty good. Okay. So you can adjust the strikes, the quantity of the contracts that you're going to trade. I'll just keep it at one contract for now. And then you can choose smart pricing settings. So I always like to do patient smart pricing settings when I enter a position. I do this pretty standard across all of my bots. Anytime I do manual trading, I like to try lots of prices. So since the spread is pretty decently wide, not wide compared to other things, but it's not SPY obviously, so it's not a penny wide or 2 pennies wide. The spread's about 10 cents wide. Then I like to try up to 5 prices and space them 20 seconds apart. So I'll use that patient smart pricing setting and let this try for that price. So I'll just leave the final price blank. I'll just use whatever smart pricing determines and be good with that. Okay, so last thing that we do here is set our exit options. So exit options are pretty cool because what you can do with these exit options is you can basically, you don't want to see me. I'll just come back in here in a little bit. But what you can do with these now, and these are new, is have the bot basically auto check the position every 1 minute that it's open. So the exit options, if you think about it, like the exit options are attached or tied to or piggyback on top of the position. So these exit options are for this position. And the goal is really that, for as a trader, like we kind of like to make trades and we like to find our trades and things like that. But sometimes the hard part is managing the trade. And so what we found is that, you all and traders, myself included, we just want to manage the trade and just say, look, if it reaches the profit target, do it, take it off. If it a stop loss, take it off. If expiration, take it off. Earnings, take it off. Boom, 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 right? And just add some of these things in here. So now what we can do is we can kind of set these together. So I'll say, go ahead and take profits. I'll probably set it. I don't know if I would set it. This is just me thinking as I go through this too, because it's a live trade, but I don't know if I would set it at 25% for this particular position because it might be too small. So if I'm taking in a credit of like $100, if I set it at 25, that'd be like a $25 credit that I would, $25 profit that I would take in. May not be enough. So I'll probably set mine a little bit higher, somewhere around 50. It's pretty standard, but you could even do something in between like 40. I don't know if I want to hold the whole time to a 50% credit or, 50% profit of the credit. I don't know if that's, might be too aggressive, especially with a longer position. I don't know if it it would probably take a little bit to get there. And what I'm expecting is generally some stability here over the next couple of weeks, maybe, a little bit of a bounce. And so maybe we take it there. I definitely don't use a stop loss, but if you wanted to, you could use it and set that as well. The benefit of doing it here is that the market makers don't see your stop loss order just sitting out there, on the books, right? So by doing it inside of Option Alpha, and then the bot can kind of control and manage and watch that every minute, it only would send the order for the stop loss when it was necessary versus just letting that stop loss order just kind of sit out there and then potentially be taken out, in a quick move lower. So if you do use stop losses, that's a good way to do it. And then the last one here is exit before expiration. I'll just do 2 days before. I generally like to exit positions heading into the week of expiration anyway. So I'll do it 2 days before, which means that if I never get a profit and the position never works out, close the position 2 days before expiration, right? I can obviously come back in and watch and manage this at any point. I can adjust these, but at least for now, I'll do 2 days before. Now, if you're a new trader, if you're someone who's got a smaller account, you want to avoid pattern day trading rules, you can check this box right here. That will make sure that any exits that you do are at least 1 day after the position is entered. I don't care about that here. If I get my profit target of 40% the first day, great, take it this afternoon. So I enter the position at 1:30, great, take it. If not, I don't care. Okay, so I'm gonna set these for mine. I'll select them. Those are my exit options. I'll generally use probably about the same exit options for the FXI position as well, but this one's TLT. And so now I've got everything set up. Last thing that you have to do here for setting this up, and let me know if you have any questions as we're going through this, because I see a number of people in here live watching. Is this helpful to go through this as we're kind of going through this process? Let me know in the chat. Last thing that you have to do is you have to select what bot this goes under. So if you do want to add a brand new position and then dump it into a bot and basically tie it to a bot so that that bot trades it, go ahead and do that. You can just select, from one of your bots that you have running. Notice I've got a number of bots that I have running, but like I said earlier, this to me is brand new. This is the first time I'm doing a manual trade like this and showing you guys how I do it. So I'm going to go ahead and create a brand new bot. I'll just call it manual trading bot. Oh, actually, it's not really manual trading. It's like hybrid trading. So we'll just say Kirk's hybrid trading bot. That way I know what it is and how it works. And then I'm going to go here and attach it to one of my accounts. This time I'm going to choose TradeStation. So this is going to be a live trade that goes to my TradeStation account as these orders start flowing through. The bot capital, I'm going to give it a little bit of capital. Let's give it like $2,500. Get that first trade in for sure. Obviously, this is for the whole bot that I'm just kind of quickly spinning up and creating here. But you give it some room to just make other trades, right? But in this case, this position is a smaller position. So it's a risk-defined $5 wide position. So it's not going to take up the whole $2,500. But if I start adding more to this particular bot, that's just like a hybrid bot, this is where you could kind of control some of those capitals, and it would just give you basically a warning that says like, hey, you're running out of your capital limit for the bot, and you'd have to adjust it higher, right? So it's a risk control, kind of helps protect you, make sure that you know how much you're trading in here. So I'm going to go ahead and just quickly create that bot. So that bot's just created. Now this position can live inside of that bot. And obviously it's really cool because if you want to keep that position in there and have it disconnected from everything else, you just put it into a simple bot like that, or you can dump it into any other bots that you have, okay? All right, so at this point, I think I'm pretty good to go. Let me get myself out of here, maximize this screen so you guys can see. So pretty good to go here. I'm still doing the 90, 85 short put spread in TLT. TLT has been on a huge down move through December. So my guess is hopefully we get a little bit of a bounce between now and then. If we do, we got some exit triggers that are set up to monitor and watch this every 1 minute for our profit targets and for 2 days to expiration, which would only happen later in the cycle anyway. But it's kind of everything wrapped up into this like position, which is manual, and then semi-hybrid, which is like the title of the live stream, because you do have these automated attachments to it with exit options that monitor it automatically for you. So you don't have to keep worrying about logging back in and checking the position and calculating all these things. It's all kind of done for you. So I'm gonna go ahead and place the trade, let the automation start running. You can see it started and just start that process of opening the position. So if I go and view the position here, you can see the trades that are still working. So this is working the trades right now. You can see it's trying these different prices, working its way through the bid-ask spread, trying to find kind of that middle ground. So it might take a little bit. Oh, actually, it was filled. There you go at 103. So you can see it tried at 104, which is kind of cool. So in this, again, live trade that I just executed in TradeStation, it tried at 104. That was the first target. It was going to 102. So that was the next price that was actually tried. So they submitted the order for 102, but it actually filled better at 103. So it got a better fill at 103, which was good. I mean, that's kind of, in that ballpark of the range that we wanted to be in, was at 103. So if I go through here now, you can see these are all the trade details. So this is like the physical opening of the position. And if I exit out of this and just refresh the position details now I get all the details flowing in of the actual position that was filled. You might have noticed that those details for the position don't actually show up until the position's filled, right? So at some point, once the position gets filled, then all of your P&L diagrams and payoff diagrams will start to show up. So what I like about this now is that now I have this position. So I get all my information here. I get my credit, my market value, my current P&L, return on risk, blah, blah, blah. Payoff diagram, this is really cool. I love this now. You can see where my probability of success is. I know exactly what my probabilities are, and these will update as I go. So these are not static for this moment in time that we entered the position. So what we did with these, and the way that we all want to see them, is we don't, yes, you care about like what the probability was potentially when you open the position, right? That's good. But what you care about also is and sorry, I'm scrolling around. What you care about also is like, what are the probabilities at the current moment for any of these positions? So if you have a position open, wouldn't it be great to see like, oh, there's a right now, based on how many days are left until expiration and volatility and everything, there's a 80% chance that you stay above your break even, or there's a 70% chance that you reach your max profit, right? That type of information I think is really helpful because it helps you understand like where you are in your position. If you go down here a little bit more, you can see your exit options. So these are the exit options that I set. So 40% profit taking 2 days before expiration. If I ever wanted to adjust this, I could go in here and just make a simple adjustment here, reset those exit options, and those exit options get reset. So if you ever feel like, I want to get this thing off, maybe I want to check, for 40% or 2 days or whatever, you can obviously do that in here and adjust those exit options for the position. Also, if you ever wanted to close the position, you just go up here and you button to close, determine your pricing, add a little memo to yourself so that goes with the trade. You can say why you did it or how you did it or what your thought process was. So you can kind of document it. But I'm going to keep that one open. Okay, so I'll keep that one open. All right, so first trade down, first trade in TLT. So I'm going to go ahead and close out of all these windows. I'm going to grab another position here. This time I'm going to do FXI. So let me know if this is helpful, by the way, going through this. Yes. Very helpful. Okay, yes. James said yes. Very helpful. All right, good. Appreciate it. All right, so next one that we're going to do here is FXI. So same thing basically with TLT like we talked about. Huge down move in FXI. I'm going to play the mean reversion aspect of it for like a one-off trade here because I think it's going to be fun. And I think it could be a good trade. So we're going to do December's. We're going to do the long strikes. FXI doesn't have as many lower strikes to choose from. So there's not a lot of availability because it's kind of price constrained here. It's already at 21. So you start getting down to those lower strikes and it just kind of runs out. And so I think the key thing here, whether you do it automated and you have a bot check for open interest and volume, which you should do if you're doing it completely automated, like fully automated, you should have your bot check for those things, and they can check for open interest and check for volume. But if you're doing it manually, double check the open interest and volume here, because you can see these ones down here, it's like 13, 14 strike puts. You don't want to do anything with those. There's really no volume, really no open interest. Even the 16 strike put, you don't want to touch that thing. It's not worth doing. You'd be the only person swimming in a little pool of liquidity by yourself. So I think the ones that I'll do is I'll probably do maybe like these 17s, which would be the long strike. There's not a lot of volume today, but the open interest is pretty good. Definitely better than everything else around there. And then the short strike we'll do like the 20. So I definitely want to do this out of the money. It's already really like price constrained lower at 21 and change, about 22 right now. So we'll see what that kind of gives us. Okay, so this one gives us a little bit more information now. So now that we have the 17 and the 20s, which I really don't want to mess with those ones because of the liquidity between the two strikes, right? So it's already kind of on the edge. But you can see that we collect about $54 in potential premium here, which is not too bad. And the bid-ask spread's not too wide. Actually, it's a little bit more narrow than TLT was. You can see we've got about a 74% chance of a profit on this position. Actually, I think I'm hiding that. Let me just show you. There we go. Now you guys can see it there. All right, good. So we got about 74% chance of profit, about a 4% chance of reaching our max loss. That's again based on volatility right now. It doesn't mean 4% doesn't mean zero. It means 4%, right? That's the likelihood of it going that way. And then our break even is about a 80% chance that it stays above our break even, which is 1947. So pretty decent. We'll do 2 contracts here just to get that max profit up a little bit, so it makes it worth doing. 1 contract and then exiting the position early, probably not worth it. So we'll do 2 contracts, kind of scale up a little bit. We can again add more positions over time. If the market goes down, we can grab another position later, something like that, and kind of scale into a bigger position. But for now, it's a good starting point to, like start that initial position essentially. So I selected patient smart pricing again. This will try up to 5 prices. I didn't mention this before, but a lot of people sometimes will choose patient smart pricing and say 5 prices, and then what will happen is it'll only try 3 prices. Well, that's because the spread is narrow. So up to 5 means that if the spread is really wide, it will try at most 5 prices. But if the bid-ask spread is narrow, it doesn't need to try 5 prices because the bid-ask spread's already narrow. So hopefully that makes sense. So I'll try patient smart pricing for exit options. I'm going to set these a little bit more aggressive. I'm going to do 50% of credit and then expiration 2 days before, same. Just a little bit more aggressive for the profit taking here for FXI. Unlike TLT, which I could see moving lower and not having this big move, I think personally that the reaction in FXI maybe have been over exaggerated from the weekend. So if we get a move up, I want to be able to take some more money off the table. But again, that's just me. That you do whatever you want to do for yours. Okay. And since I've already created that other bot, I'm going to go ahead and dump this into Kirk's hybrid trading bot, which is one of the ones on my list. Again, you can make a new bot just for TLT or just for FXI. You can make a bot for anything. It doesn't matter. So I'll do this hybrid trading bot and throw that one in there. So now that we're good to go here, we have everything set up. I think it's a good setup trade. We know what our stats are, taking small amount of risk, small trade. We have our exit options set, so it's taking care of the management of the position for us automatically. So last thing we have to do is just go ahead and simply place the trade, okay? Oh, I forgot to make one adjustment. Well, this is what happens in real time. But that's a position limit that is in the first spot that I had. So let me go back here and make the adjustment to this and throw that in there, okay? So let me go back here, and I'm going to go ahead and open up the position here. So I'm going to go down to my bots, go to Kirk's hybrid trading bot. I'm going to go to my settings here for this position. Now this is one, and I guess this is what happens when you do live, but I forgot to go in here to my bot limits. When you create a new bot, the limits are automatically set by default to 1 per day, 1 at a time. And so if we wanted to make more than 1 position, we just go in here to the settings for this bot, this like hybrid trading bot. You can see it only has the 1 position that it's currently running right now, which is the one that we just opened. But we can go in here to the bot limits and we can change those to allow 2 positions per day and 2 positions at any one time. So again, this is a control, it's a safeguard. It ensures that even if you have a bunch of automations running, that the bot only ever opens the number of positions that you say that you want it to open. So we're going to go here and say, okay, you can open 2 positions per day and 2 positions at one time. This would get our 2 positions in place, and then we can adjust and modify from there if we want to. Okay, so that's saved now for the bot. So those are all in here. Oh, I don't think I actually hit save. Let me go 2 per day and 2 positions. Go ahead and hit save. There we go. Okay, so that's saved for the bot. So go back to our position. Just quickly build this out here again for this short put spread. We'll do the Decembers. We'll do long puts at 17, these at 20. We'll do 2 contracts, set our exit options at 50 and expirations 2 days. And notice you can actually do this like pretty quick if you're not walking through and explaining the whole thing. And so we're back here to square one. So let's go ahead now and place the trade, which is here. Okay, good. So now in this position, what we have now is we have that it did go ahead and start placing the trade. If I go to view the position, again, the position is in the current status of opening. So it's actually working through the process of opening the position. If I scroll down here to the trades, I can see how it's working through the orders right now. So you can see it tried 54. That was the first price that it tried as it's working through the bid-ask spread that it's identified. So that didn't work. It then tried 53. And now it's going to start trying the other one, which is 52. So it's working there. We can just keep refreshing if you want to, and you can see this kind of happening. So it's canceling that order. And now it's going to sit here at 51. So we'll see if it fills at 51. That's the last price it's going to try. So try to work through the bid-ask spread. In this case for FXI, unlike TLT, TLT got filled a little bit sooner as it was working through there, but this one is going to sit here for a little bit. Oh, there we go. Now it's filled at 51, so it's good. Last price it tried was 51. It got filled in the last price, but at least it tried those other prices as it was working through the position. So now if I go back here to the position details, you can see how the position details have now started to fill in. So for this FXI position, now that the position's filled, now that the bot knows exactly what's going on, you can see it has its credit, the market value, the whole deal. And again, we get our now unique payoff diagram for this particular position. So our break evens 1949, there's a 79% chance of staying there, right? So this is all good. We can enter or edit our exit options at any point. If you wanted to edit these exit options, you just go in here to edit, make all your adjustments, bing, bing, boom, you're done, and you're out of here. So the position's fully managed at this point. It's entered, it's managed. I don't have to do anything else for this position moving forward. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed that today, just kind of going through this. I know this is a little bit different. We don't typically, and this is, some of the first trades that I do where I do like live like this and kind of show you how I do it and kind of use this like hybrid approach where I'm finding the trades myself. I don't need a bot to find them. They're kind of organically generated ideas that I have, just based on what's happening in the market. But I'm still trying to use some of these automations to accomplish goals and solve problems that I would normally find, which is managing the position, going through that process, trying to watch the position for different things. So now I'm good to go. I'm going to let those positions sit and marinate and keep working forward. So hopefully you guys all enjoyed this. I know some of you did. KP said loving it. A lot more flexibility than I imagined. Good. That's why I'm trying to show you. I'm like using this for my own stuff too. And you just send the orders back and forth between the brokers. Let bots do what they do good. You guys do what you do good. And go from there. So, okay, let me know if you guys have any questions. Hopefully you all enjoyed this. If you do have any questions, let me know. Just add them in the chat. We'll make sure we get back to you. Let me know if you guys like me doing stuff like this, want to see more different versions. I'm just trying to share what I'm doing and kind of show you how I'm thinking about it and going through that process and using the platform myself. So hopefully you all enjoyed this. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.